Manchester United have spent over £1 billion since Sir Alex Ferguson left in 2013, winning just 5 trophies and not a single Premier League, showing that money isn't everything. So today, we are testing that with Newcastle United, a team that this season and last season was expected to start challenging for Champions League places and for the title given their new Saudi-backed ownership, but that has not happened. We'll be testing that today, spending £1 billion. Can we win a bunch of trophies with Newcastle? And this is of course possible thanks to their ownership being backed by a Saudi state. They've got effectively unlimited money, and even more so now because of the court case of Manchester City, where they were basically found not guilty of their ownerships putting money into the club through ridiculous sponsorships, which means effectively now the Newcastle owners could sponsor a rock outside of St James's for £100 million and no one can say anything about it. So we're about to get into silly season, I imagine, in the Premier League, unless rules are updated. So we're going to do that today on FM. We're going to go full silly season and improve this Newcastle side, from which now is quite decent. I am using an Eddie Howe 4-3-3 base system for season number 1 and making no signings because I want to show you guys what this Newcastle team is capable of and then add to it with some absolutely mental signings. If you're a massive fan of the youth-only rebuilds or Moneyball rebuilds or bits that are challenging, this might not be the video for you, but I'd say you still keep watching. This video is going to be about signing some of the best players in world football and building a system which incorporates all of them and looking to dominate football with the best players in the world. It is going to be great fun. It's going to be very different, let's be honest. The team currently, we've got 3 fantastic midfielders: Bruno Guimaraes, Sam Tonali and Joe Linton. The 3 of them as a trio is fantastic, and I imagine Joe Linton might eventually end up leaving the squad, but Tonali and Bruno Guimaraes really are good enough to be Champions League winners. You've got a fantastic young right back at the back with Tino Livramento, and Sven Botman at left centre-back, also potentially a Champions League winner. Fabian Schär, Matt Targett and Nick Pope are all going to need to be replaced. And to be honest, the only other player I'm looking to replace is Harvey Barnes in the right wing position. Anthony Gordon has surprised so many people recently with how good he has been at Newcastle. He might be a little bit less good this season than last, but if he can get back to that form, he'll be outrageously good. And Alex Isak, we know what a fantastic striker he could be. So the foundations are there for Newcastle, but there is some gaps that need filling, which is where I guess our £1 billion is going to come in, as well as the backup options. Don't get me wrong, it's not horrendous, but having the likes of Joe Willock still here, Callum Wilson, who is now in his 30s, Kieran Trippier, who is going to slowly get replaced by Livramento, Sean Longstaff, Miggy Almiron, Jamal Lascelles, Jacob Murphy, that is not Champions League winning. A bunch of players of the same quality that Lewis Miley can get to is exactly what we need. And don't worry, Newcastle fans, Lewis Miley will be a massive part of this rebuild. Even though we've got all of this money, Lewis Miley still could be one of the best midfielders in the Premier League in this rebuild. So let's get right into it. Newcastle this season are predicted to finish in around the third place, apparently. I mean, I wouldn't say that at all, to be honest. This is a little bit bugged due to the new updated database. I'd say we're predicted just outside the top 4, to be honest, and I'd be quite happy with getting into the Europa League. But apparently, the game are predicting us to come third, so we might have an unbelievable season and then go even more crazy from there. But hopefully, we just get Europa League football and then we can build a dominating side. This was one of the tightest Premier League seasons of all time. From first to 5th place was separated by just 2 points. 82 points for the winner, 80 points for the 4 others. And then there was us as Newcastle in 6th place on 64 points, 16 points outside. What a ridiculous season. I have never in my life of Football Manager seen anything like this. And I didn't expect us to be so far off. West Ham were incredible this season, which they've not really been in real life recently, so it's quite surprising to see them up in 5th place. But Liverpool, Arsenal, Spurs and West Ham all on 80 points. Man City picking the post on 82. Newcastle getting Europa League football, 64 points is exactly what I wanted. And in terms of some of the standout players, it's exactly what we expected. Anthony Gordon and Alex Isak at the top of the goal scorers charts. And in terms of average rating, Gordon, Lewis Miley, Tonali, Joe Linton, Willock actually surprised us, was very good off the bench, and same for Jacob Murphy, but the quality is needing to be stepped up. And well, luckily here, we've got lots and lots of money. We're going to be spending £1 billion over 5 seasons. And we've been starting this off with £135 million in the bank, £140,000 in the wage budget. Before we do our first season of transfers, let me know in the comments down below who are some of the best players in the world that you would like to see at Newcastle or in the Premier League in real life, and will we sign any of them today? Let's get into Season 1's transfers. And just to very quickly mention as well, we got knocked out in the semi-finals of the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup by Arsenal and Aston Villa. So we needed to make signings to actually win some trophies, and the number one signing is someone Newcastle were heavily linked with in real life but couldn't quite get the deal over the line. It is the English centre-back Mark Guehi. He cost us £81 million, which is not far from what Crystal Palace were looking for in real life, and you can see why, because he is absolutely fantastic. At just 24 years of age, he has extreme consistency, likes big match, fantastic physical stats, great defensively, great determination, and is a true leader on the pitch as well. A partnership of Guehi and Sven Botman could literally dominate the Premier League for years to come. We do need to massively improve our right wing position as well from Harvey Barnes, so we've signed Yeremy Pino from Villarreal for £84 million. Yeremy has some of the best wonder kid stats on the game, with fantastic dribbling, physicals and flair, and we've not looked too far for his backup either in Fabio Blanco, also from Villarreal, also Spanish, also a right winger with some decent stats in physicals, dribbling and flair yet again. We've got two very similar right wingers that can do the exact same job. For me, one of the main things that Newcastle need to look at improving this/next season would certainly be in the goalkeeping spot. So we've signed Alex Meret from Napoli. He cost us £64 million, which was a hell of a lot, but he's consistent, he likes big matches, and is obviously very, very experienced. 132 games at Napoli over the last 5 years, has got great jumping reach and aerial reach, good handling, good reflexes, good anticipation, can be an absolute world beater. Our brand new left back is young Spanish left back Miguel Gutierrez, signed from Girona, again heavily linked with many top teams over Europe. Our brand new backup centre back is Flavian Enzo Boyomo, signed from Atletico Pamplona. And finally, it was time to bring in a bit of experience. We've signed Dani Parejo, also from Villarreal, a little bit of a raid from them, but just to come in and be a very experienced leader on the pitch. And when he does play, he is certainly going to bring that. He is consistent, he likes big matches, technically a very gifted footballer as well as mentally. His physicals are slowly leaving him at 35 years of age, but he has certainly got room to still give a lot for this Newcastle side. Which means in just season number 1, we have pretty much improved all the positions I thought we were going to need to. Pino comes in the right wing position, Guehi as our right centre back, Gutierrez as our left back, and Meret as our goalkeeper. The only other position I think really needs improving is this Joe Linton role here, which can be done over time. We can't do everything in just one season. It's safe to say though, this team is certainly looking like a team which could easily compete for the Premier League and certainly for the Europa League, which is what we are in this season. The Europa League, the FA Cup, the Carabao Cup, and in terms of the Premier League, we are predicted to finish in 4th, which I now think is actually fair. Our team is incredibly strong, and we should be able to batter most teams in the league. And we certainly got some score lines which gave the impression that we could beat absolutely anyone on our day. You can see the on-Russian Metsala role coming into effect there as Isaac finds Joe Linton in the middle to make it 1-0 against a pretty decent Manchester United side. Made it 2-0 pretty quickly as Anthony Gordon finishes from the edge of the box before Manchester United come through with Jadon Sancho and Mason Mount linking up to make it 2-1. But we showed our heart, we showed our steeliness as Tonali whips in the corner to the back stick for Botman to make it 3, and we grab a 4th in the 95th minute as well, showing an absolutely dominating performance with a finish from Harvey Barnes. But overall this season we lacked consistency and were only able to finish in 6th place yet again. We did massively improve our points tally from last season from 60 to 74, and if we do the same again, we'll be level on points with Liverpool in the top of the league. But that gap is certainly going to be harder to close down. Now, Manchester United won 5 trophies in the 10 years since Sir Alex Ferguson, when they spent 1.6 billion. We are looking to beat them 5 trophies and win hopefully 7 or 8. And this season we were looking to lift our first. And well, it wasn't going to be in the FA Cup as we lost to Liverpool in the 3rd round. And that's where we also lost to Brighton on penalties. So it all came down to Europe, and in particular, the Europa League. In the league phase, we were absolutely fantastic and came in 2nd place behind Roma on 21 points compared to their 22. It was a simply fantastic time. We won 7 games against Dinamo Minsk, Hapoel Beersheva, Villarreal, Molde, TSC and Rennes conceding just 2 goals the whole time. Which meant in the round of 16 we were due a favourable tie, and that's exactly what we got as we beat Strasbourg 5-2. The quarterfinals though were not so easy as we faced Lazio in the first leg, which was a 0-0 draw, and we come here to the second leg away from home and go 1-0 down in 23 minutes. But luckily in the 75th, Isaac lays the ball off to Yerry Pino, who makes it 1-1. And in the 94th minute in the Europa League quarter-final, Newcastle are going to grab a second, as again that on-rushing Mezzala role makes a massive impact to make us 2-1 winners, and we're heading to the semis. We played up against Roma, the team who battered the league phase with the top spot, and we beat them 1-0 in the first leg. And away from home in the second leg, we also got the victory. Alex Isaac with the first goal in just 5 minutes before Lewis Miley scores in the Europa League semi-final for Newcastle to make us 3-1 winners on the night. We set up an all-English final against Aston Villa, and while Lewis Miley was having a field day, he scored in just 21 minutes to make it 1-0 before Aston Villa pegged us back. The ball whipped back to Kamara, a long-range effort, and it was 1-1, and that sent the game into extra time. Gutierrez and Barnes linking up before Miley drives down that left-hand side to find Harvey Barnes again. Oh, it's not an equaliser, it's a top-bin screamer in the 97th minute before Aston Villa, well, they do grab an equaliser. Thanks to a goal from Samuel Elling Jr., the game is heading to penalties, where luckily, thanks to the misses from Tielemans and Alex Moreno, Newcastle run away as winners on penalties 4-3 in the end. So the first trophy has been secured from this rebuild. Newcastle are European champions, Europa League champions. But that's not enough. For the money we spent last season, I wanted more. I wanted top 4 football. I wanted to be the best team in the league. And to be honest, things were just not quite ticking. Harvey Barnes was our second top goal scorer with 10 goals. Gordon fell off a little bit this season. Pino was great average ratings wise, but didn't really grab the goals. And Joe Linton, when he got 13 assists, just 8 goals, wasn't really enough in that Mezzala role. So I think it's time to change formation away from Eddie Howe's ways, play the Kempi style of play, and spend a ridiculous amount of money, as we've got a £230 million transfer budget. So welcome in who is, in my opinion, the most exciting central attacking midfielder in world football, in Florian Wirtz, signed from Bayer Leverkusen, just 22 years of age. Florian has gone through some hardship in his career already, with an ACL injury keeping him out for a year, but he has shown in the past 12 months that he is going to be unstoppable. Just 20 to 21 years of age in real life. This kid is special. He is consistent. He likes big matches. His dribbling is outrageous. His finishing, his first touch, his technique and passing, both at 19, means he could play line-breaking passes. Unbelievable cam in behind Alex Isaac. We could be on to an absolute dream duo. And that did set us back £120 million. So we are spending money at a pretty ridiculous rate. So we're going to bring in another brand new goalkeeper as well. To be honest, Alex Murray hardly played last season. Nick Pope kept his #1 spot. So I decided Bart Verbruggen was going to come in to try and overtake Nick Pope. Obviously just 22 years of age. So a nice little stat boost from the FM Inside database that we are using. Link to that should be down in the description if you want to update your FM to be the 24-25 season. That link is down there. It is absolutely fantastic. You have young players on it like Cristiano Ronaldo Jr., Kai Rooney, updated potentials, updated current abilities. It is absolutely fantastic, and the link to that will be down below. Not a sponsor or anything, just genuinely what we're using for the rebuilds now, and it's absolutely fantastic. So welcome in Bart Verbruggen. We have also signed another striker, and it is Victor Gyökeres. Now we are keeping to a 4-2-3-1 system, but I believe for any team to be truly successful, you have to have 2 strikers which can both play the same amount of games, around 30 to 35 each, while also playing a good 15 to 20 games of the bench. And both strikers you need to be able to rely on to score you goals. So Isaac and Gyökeres are going to share that starting position. We've got both the Swedish number 9s. We then made a piece of smart business, bringing in Sebastian Caceres from Club America. And finally, I wanted to spend a little bit more money. So we spent 73 million on bringing Bradley Barcola in from PSG. It was completely unnecessary, but the money here at Newcastle is just unnecessary. We have already spent 500 million in 2 seasons, maybe even 600. And the team I mean, it shows. The team is now ridiculous. Nick Pope still currently holding down that starting spot, but it should be part of Verbruggen. Tilo Romento has developed into a fantastic right back, with Gerhi, Botman and Miguel Gutierrez making up the rest of the back four. Tonali and Bruno G keeping their DM places, and I imagine they will do for the whole rebuild, with Pino, Vert, Gordon and Isaac. But the thing that I mentioned needed massively improving was the backups. It's Pope, Reed, Caceres, Bayomo, Lewis Hall, Willock, Miley, Blanco, Joelinton, Barcola and Victor Gyökeres. There's a few players in there that I think still need replacing and still need upgrading, but we can do that over the seasons. Currently £600 million spent. What a team we have created. We are now in the Champions League, FA Cup, Carabao Cup and predicted still 5th in the Premier League, which shows the growing rate of the Premier League as well. Manchester City have got a pretty decent side still, including Nico Williams now on the right wing. Liverpool still keeping a very, very similar team with now Pape Matar and Gravenberch in DM. Arsenal, again, a very similar team. In fact, the exact same team in real life, which is now why they're third and not, battling for the top. United apparently have a better team than us. Looking at that compared to ours on paper, I know which one I would rather. Our team is 100% better, and in fact, I think it's pretty similar, if not better than Liverpool's, and are ready to challenge Manchester City properly. So let's get into season 3. For some reason, we simply cannot win any domestic trophies, as we lose to Liverpool in the quarterfinals of the Carabao, and also Spurs in the 5th round of the FA Cup with a 3-0 loss. That's incredibly frustrating. What we did have this season was consistency and ability to absolutely blow teams away. Just some of these results are absolutely mental. A 7-0 against Bournemouth, 5-1 against Brighton, home and away from home, while also beating teams like Chelsea, Manchester United and Liverpool, meant we were serious contenders for the Premier League trophy, and that's exactly what we went and done. 78 points, 4 points better off than last season. Newcastle United are Premier League champions. Now granted, for this season, the league seemed to fall off a fair bit. Liverpool, who won the league last season on 88 points, dropped down to 54, which is a catastrophic L. Manchester City only gets 77 points, and the rest of the league, well, it was all just very tight. I mean, Bournemouth on 40 points got relegated, so we were just the most consistent and the best on the day, and the reason for that was having Victor Gyökeres as our top goal scorer with 25 goals, 30 goals in 36 games and 14 off the bench. Florian Wirtz also was amazing this season and was the best player in the Premier League for 7.5 average rating. He grabbed 22 goals and 14 assists. But what did I say about having squad rotation and 2 strikers that could both come on and score goals at any point? Because Alex Isaac also played 34 games and grabbed 32 goals, which means looking here, our top 2 strikers both played pretty much the same amount of goals, both got still above 30 plus goals, which is absolutely fantastic and exactly what I was looking for. Wirtz was unbelievable. Gordon was great this season, 15-11. Pino, 13-15. Barcola as a rotational winger, 8 goals, 13 assists is brilliant. Our fullbacks in Livramento and Gutierrez both grabbed double-figure assists, which is simply fantastic. And all of that helped massively in getting us to finish in the top 8 of the Champions League league phase. 5 victories against Olympia, Ajax, Liverpool, Napoli and Nice before, sadly, drawing to Milan, Bayern and Shakhtar, nearly going unbeaten and winning every game in the Champions League. But sadly, that slight bit of consistency is what undid us. In the Champions League quarterfinals, we ended up losing to Arsenal on penalties, a team we knew we could beat on our day, but with the amount of games we were playing, we still just managed to fall short. So it is one big trophy in the Premier League coming our way and one in the Europa League as well. So we've really done better than Manchester United, who have not won a Premier League since 2013. United fans, don't worry, I am actually a United fan. It's not nice taking the mick out of us, but our record is shocking. 1.6 billion, no Premier League trophies. I can't believe we're actually in that state. But what we are looking to do is beat the 5 trophies Manchester United have won in the last 10 years while spending over £1 billion. Currently, we have 2 trophies and 600 million. We need to ramp up the spending though, because we've got 2 seasons to go and we have got 234 million in the bank. So welcome in the star boy, the player everyone wants to use, the player everyone wants to watch. It is, of course, Lamine Yamal. 20 flair, fantastic dribbling, crossing technique, physical stats, 5'11", consistent, signed from Barcelona for £84 million Lamine Yamal is in the Premier League. And ladies and gentlemen, we did not stop there either. We are out to get the best in class. So welcome Alphonso Davies from Bayern Munich for £100 million. Yes, I said it. We are spending ridiculous amounts of money. We are building the best team to ever grace the earth. Which means we finally need a brand new goalkeeper to actually replace Nick Pope. So welcome in Anatoly Trubin. And we've also sold Nick Pope, so we don't have them pesky issues anymore. Trubin, 17 area reach, 18 jumping reach is exactly what we need in goal. Unbelievable in big games, so in penalty situations, he'll be brilliant, and extreme consistency. And our final signing was a free agent one of Daniel Pliglua, who is a 4-star youth academy player. He's cost us nothing. He was a free agent from De Graafschap. And the reason I've done that is because I also like to build teams for you guys on Patreon. And that link is down in the description where you can help support me as a creator. And you also get all the rebuild files and any shortlists I do, any scouting methods I do, all over there as well for £5 a month. And it helps me keep this dream of doing content a reality. So if you can help out, £5 down below, you won't regret it. You'll get a bunch of content and you help out, support your boy and join the famous Kempi army. Now the team we've got here is fantastic. Trubin, Livramento, Gurhi, Botman, Davies, Tonali, Bruno G, Yamal, Wirtz, Gordon and Isaac up front. And the backups, well, they could do a pretty good job in the Premier League as well. Verbruggen, Reed, Caceres, Boyomo, Gutierrez, Willock, Miley, Pino, Joelinton, Barcola and Victor Gyökeres. And Lewis Miley, he's progressing a hell of a lot. He has played a bunch of games for us and he's gone sort of under the radar, playing 20 plus games in most seasons, averaging just under a 7 average rating and being very influential in the games he does play as well. So great to see that Lewis is still developing while bringing in a bunch of absolute superstars. And for the first time in this rebuild, other than the dodgy one in season 1, we are finally predicted back in the top 3. Newcastle 6-1 to go and win this title. City is who we're up against. Julian Nagelsmann in a 5-back, Enzo Fernandez and Kevin De Bruyne in DM. I think we're better than them, and this time I really want the Champions League. But sadly, despite a brace from Alex Isaac in the Champions League semi-finals, we are going to be getting knocked out against Barcelona, where Vitor Roque won the battle of the strikers. It was 5-4 on aggregate, and some would say we didn't quite deserve it. We didn't turn up on the night, we were carried by Isaac, and Vitor Roque ran riot. This guy has progressed into an absolute demon. The new update from FM Insider has made this guy 1,000 times better. These stats are outrageous, and be sure that if we do any rebuilds like this, any Wonderkid rebuilds in the future, Vitor Roque is coming to my club. So make sure you're subscribing to see probably the best striker in FM history. We did manage to go back-to-back in the Premier League, which was of course fantastic news, and this season it was much more deserved. 89 points overall, a 53 goal difference, losing just 3 games all year. Having that consistency, building up a fantastic squad has helped massively, which means it's now 3 trophies, 2 Premier Leagues, a Europa League, but that is it again. Knocked out in the 3rd round of the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup. I don't understand it. The consistency is there, but in one-off games or in cup competitions, we just don't quite seem to have it, which is incredibly frustrating. The squad absolutely smashed it. Gyökeres certainly fell off a little bit. 13 goals, 1 assist, and a 6.81, while Alex Isaac was still fantastic. Just overall, we didn't quite play as well. And that's fair enough. Sometimes it happens. One player that was, of course, absolutely fantastic was Lamine Yamal. 11 goals, 13 assists, a 7.09. I'm so glad I brought him in. He actually wasn't getting that much game time at Barcelona either. So it's good that we've saved his career and we are going to make him an absolute superstar. And we're going through each season and adding up how much money we've spent, with 232 million in season 1, 219 in season 2, 357 in season 3/4. We just spent £808 million, which means we have got £192 to spend this summer to break the £1 billion record. £235 million in the transfer budget certainly allows us to do it, and this brand new update has meant Newcastle literally just print money. So in your brand new FM stage, do not be surprised to see Newcastle just dominate for years to come, because they are stupidly rich. Which, to be honest, just makes for an incredibly fun save, because it means you can just bring in the best players in the world. So Rafael Leao joins from AC Milan for £150 million. It's completely unnecessary. We've got Barcola and Anthony Gordon. We've got Yeremy Pino, Lamine Yamal. But just why not? Why not bring in Rafa Leao for 150 million? And why not spend another 70 million bringing in Noah Darvik from Barcelona? I mean, we have spent 230 million this summer on just 2 players. Noah Darvik isn't even that good. He's just young and got great potential. But why not? Just why not? We didn't even get close to spending all our money. We've still got 100 million and £1 million in wage budget I could have spent. But this team, I don't know who else I'd have to buy to make this team any better. Trubin, Livramento, Gurhi, Botman, Davies, Tonali, Bruno G, Yamal, Wirtz, Leao, Isaac, and that's just the first team. The backup, some would say, would also challenge for a Premier League. Gyökeres up front, Pino, Darvic, Gordon, Hall, and Miley in DM, who have both progressed really well. The defence a little bit weak. Giovanni Reed at right back with Caiceres, Boyomo, and Miguel Gutierrez the backup left back with Bart Verbruggen in goal. I mean, it would certainly challenge for Europa League spot, and our team is just full of like a Galactico level team of Real Madrid. But we just cannot become the #1 predicted team in the league. It is still Arsenal and Manchester City just ahead of us, but we have certainly closed that gap. I mean, this front four is ridiculous. Leao, Wirtz, Yamal, and Pino. I mean, that is just absolutely mental, isn't it? I mean, how is City still ahead of us? Benesa and Fernandes in DDM. I mean, we are certainly a better side. And Arsenal have still changed nothing. FM rate Arsenal way too good because this team is just miles better. And well, we showed that again this season with our consistency, meaning we'd won another Premier League title. This time was a little bit closer, drawing level on points with Liverpool on 81, but making it 3 in a row for the mighty Toonami. Imagine that's my shock when you spend £1 billion on FM and actually have a decent scouting and recruitment focus. You win trophies. In real life, obviously, there's other external factors that come into it, but it just sort of shows that money does win trophies, and there is absolutely no argument to that. And it wins lots of trophies as well, as this game here against Manchester City is going to be our 5th trophy and matching United's 5-year spell. As Gyökeres puts it past the goalkeeper to make it 1-1 in this game, we do win the Carabao Cup 4-1 in the end. 3 Premier Leagues, a Europa League, and now a Carabao Cup. Don't get me wrong, there is other stuff I want to win. There's an FA Cup I certainly want to tick off the list, so we win every domestic trophy in England. And of course, the one, the only, the holy grail, the Champions League is the final trophy we really, really need to win in this rebuild to mean that £1 billion spent equals the best team in the world. So of course, after putting 4 past City in the Carabao Cup final, we just had to go and do that one step better in the FA Cup final as well. As here against Manchester City in the FA Cup final, we win 5-2 and we're 4-0 up by just half time. The team we have built is just simply ridiculous. It was a Wirtz brace, an Isaac hat-trick, and an absolute domination. City ended up finishing 3rd in the Premier League and won 0 trophies. That's because they were also knocked out in the round of 16 in the Champions League against Inter Milan, while we beat Real Madrid 6-3 on aggregate. In the quarterfinals, it was RB Leipzig that stood in our way, and Victor Gyökeres got a brace, and Leao scored, meaning we went to the semi-finals. But we faced up against FC Bayern Munich, a much bigger test, some of the biggest tests in world football, but to be honest, not for us. Lamine Yamal scores in 36 minutes to make it 1-0 before Reed finds Darvic to find Reed again, whips in, and Leao was there for 2-0 at the back stick, and we made it 3, and a convincing first leg victory, which meant in the second leg all we had to do was not get battered. In fact, we won that one 3-2 as well, which means we are through to the final of the Champions League, where we were facing our arch nemesis Barcelona, and Vitor Roque once again. Wirtz with an unbelievable free kick to get this game underway made it 1-0. But that man Vitor Roque bounced straight back, making the game 1-1. But we looked to get a foothold in this game. Some high press from the boys, and eventually an interception from Victor Gyökeres made the game 2-1 after he put it past Andre ter Stegen. And building up from the back, Livramento drove down the right-hand side. A great ball over the top for Alex Isaac to poke it past the keeper for 3-1. We had a 2-goal lead, but against Barcelona, that was not enough. Vitor Roque through once again, grabs his 2nd of the game, believe it or not, and they are going to score again. Vitor Roque this time turning the man with the assist. Eventually an own goal, 3-3. 79th minute, a Newcastle corner whipped in, and Boyomo scores for 4-3. Before the 85th minute, Roque grabs his hat-trick. I mean, this guy is just too good. He sends us to penalties which is never fun. And this game was back and forth, back and forth. The penalties, eventually, Barcelona missed their second thanks to Frankie de Jong. And we went on to win it and win the Champions League with Newcastle. 8 trophies, 3 Premier Leagues, a Europa League, a Champions League, an FA Cup, a Carabao Cup. And maybe that was it. Maybe just 7 trophies, in fact, but much better than Manchester United. We built a ridiculous team, and Newcastle are now the best team in the world. If you are a Newcastle fan or someone wants to have some good fun over the next few months on FM, this saves for you. Get it down below on the Patreon. A massive thank you for watching this video. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. I'll speak to you next time.